very late, and today we are looking at teaching opportunities involving everyday occurrences that impact on who we are. Factors that inform our identity, such as language, skin colour, eye shape, clothing, etc., are encountered daily in our lives, but we don't always consider the extent to which they determine our identity. Identity is something that is both self-determined and perceived by others, not always in the same way. The focus in this case is on an article regarding spelling of the English language. Language must be one of the most basic of all the possible factors of identity. It is how we interact with the world around us, and it gives us both individual and group identity. Losing a language or even making changes to it is a highly sensitive issue, and many may feel threatened by the idea. Over time, this has happened, and words have been added to the dictionary. The only thing that is certain anymore is that nothing seems the way it was. Internet spells death of English. Published in the London Telegraph, January 6, 2010. This article discusses the advent of blogs and chat rooms and how this has impacted on English spelling conventions. Where once all written communication was edited or proofread, now with internet forums, instant messaging is becoming a dominant form of communication. Phonetic spelling is being implemented more and more because it is quicker. Professor David Crystal of the University of Wales in Bangor suggests that within a few decades the current spelling standards from the 18th century will be replaced. A less complicated standard in which people could spell however they wish. People who teach English as a second language often use phonetic spelling for its ease of use, rather than explain why a word has letters that you cannot hear. You can see that the conversation above follows very few English spelling conventions, although it has not lost any of its meaning. Most people, especially those under 30 years of age, would have no trouble deciphering this text. It says, "How are you today?" "Great, thanks. What about you?" "Okay. Are you coming tomorrow?" "Yes, I'll pick you up at 7. "Thanks." "No problem. See you then. I'll bring a packed lunch for you and me." "Good one." "And rhubarb pie?" "Let's go tonight. Lol." Now the LOL indicates laughing out loud, and the instant messenger has attempted to add some emotion to the conversation. So now we can take a closer look at this issue as one that impacts on identity of individuals and groups, and let's have a look at teaching it. Okay, so how is this useful and how do we teach it? Firstly, it is a highly relevant issue for teens, so I have developed two ideas for secondary classes. Both activities could be used for all age groups with slight modifications. I'm a firm believer in the value of hands-on learning and interaction between the students, so both activities also encourage and promote this. So we're looking at a great topic for a debate, and also to work in small groups and doing some brainstorming. Let's first look at the idea of having a debate. With a senior class group, they could probably assist with deciding on exactly what the debate is going to be on, and the younger year levels, such as year 8 and 9, they may need the teacher to actually offer a topic. Let's look at an example. Should traditional English conventions be upheld? The research opportunities around this issue are plentiful, with interest from many parties. Group identity will inevitably be challenged by the threat to the language, prompting an angle for the positive. Secondary students will find it enjoyable to entertain the idea of free-for-all spelling rules if they're on the negative. The depth of research will vary with the age of the students, and the level of intention to discover the real meaning of identity and diversity will also be at a level appropriate to your class group. The other activity involves splitting the class into small groups of say 4 or 5. Give each group a large sheet of butcher's paper and some bold pens. Put the questions on the board one at a time. You can see them here on this slide. So write up a question, prompt the discussion, then check for appropriate responses by visiting each group. Then you can move on to the next question. Each group at the end brings their paper to the front of the class and reflect on those questions again as a whole group. When discussing as a class group, have the students move around the classroom to designated areas that represent where they might see themselves in relation to the question. For example, those who do not use electronic communication and phonetic spellings and abbreviations would stand on one side of the room. The rest would be on the other. They might move when it comes to other factors, depending on what the groups had on their sheet. The desired outcome here is for the students to look at their own and their classmates' identity and realise there are differences, but not necessarily incurring marginalisation or disadvantage. They will also identify with a broader community and hopefully recognise a sense of belonging. Finally, ask the students to consider if this issue is playing a role in identity for individuals and perhaps even a generation. This activity could be done in a double or a long lesson and is perfect if you don't have time and for the research and preparation of a formal debate.
Thank you for your time. I hope you have found this presentation interesting and that my ideas for the classroom may be useful to you. Bye now.